Welcome to this video. In this video, I'll be discussing or making a brief introduction to electrochemistry. So electrochemistry is a study of the relationship between electricity and chemistry. So in this branch of chemistry, there are chemical reactions occurring, and these chemical reactions result in the movement of electrons, and this movement of electrons is electricity. So that is the study of electrochemistry, the relationship between electricity and chemistry. So it means each and every chemical reaction that occurs is accompanied by the movement of electrons. So the type of chemical reaction that involves the movement of electrons are called redox reactions. So what is a redox reaction? It's a reaction or simply a chemical reaction that involves the movement of electrons. A redox reaction is made up of two half reactions. Redox is made up of two half reactions, which is the red is for oxidation, the red is for reduction, and the ox is for oxidation. So hence it is called a redox reaction. So oxidation can be defined in terms of electrons, and it can also be defined in terms of oxidation number. But then in this case, I'll define oxidation in terms of electrons and reduction in terms of electrons. So oxidation is the loss of electrons, and reduction is the gain of electrons. So if a metal gains electrons, that is reduction, and if a metal loses electrons, that is oxidation. So we can often use oil rich to remember this, that oxidation is loss of electrons and reduction is gain of electrons, right? So how can we actually represent an oxidation reaction? Say we have a metal A, right? And this metal A loses 2 electrons. So if this metal loses 2 electrons, then it would have an oxidation number of 2 plus, because it had lost 2 electrons. So initially, say it was neutral, right? And then it loses 2 electrons. So the net would be 3 plus minus 1, and that would be 2 plus. So that is where the 2 plus is coming from. So this is a typical oxidation reaction. where a metal A loses 2 electrons. Another one, we can have copper metal with an oxidation number of 0, right? And it can lose 2 electrons. That is an oxidation half reaction. Another example, say we have Fe2 plus losing 1 electron, that would be Fe3 plus. And the last example, we can have zinc, which will give us zinc 2 plus 2 electrons. So you can notice that for an oxidation reaction, the electrons are on the right hand side. So the electrons are on the right hand side of the chemical equation. And reduction, which is gain of electrons. Typical example is copper 2 plus gaining 2 electrons to give us copper, or we can say a metal A with 2 plus gaining 2 electrons, and this would give us a metal A. So what if a metal A 2 plus gaining a single electron? This would give us A plus, because the negative would actually cancel 1 positive on that oxidation number of A, so we'd have A plus. Another example is when we have zinc 2 plus 2 electrons. This would give us zinc metal. So we can notice also that the electrons for reduction are on the left side of the chemical equation. So these are typical examples of reduction reactions. So let's talk about reducing and oxidizing agent. So the reducing agent is the substance that undergoes oxidation. So it causes the other substance to be reduced. So a reducing agent is a substance that undergoes oxidation, and the oxidizing agent, it causes the other substance to be oxidized. So these substances undergoes reduction. So it's sometimes confusing that find that learners say since it's reducing, then it means it is the substance that undergoes reduction, which is not true. So the reducing agent undergoes oxidation and the oxidizing agent undergoes reduction. It's sort of like opposites. So in this case, we have substances undergoing oxidation, so we have reducing agent here, and we have substances which undergo reduction, and we'd have oxidizing agents here. So these are the oxidizing agents, and these are the reducing agents. So this is a typical introduction of electrochemistry, which is the study of the relationship between electricity and chemistry. And in these chemical reactions that occur, it causes movement of electrons. And that type of a reaction is called a redox reaction, which is a chemical reaction that involves the movement of electrons. So the redox has two half reactions, which is the oxidation, which is the loss of electrons, and reduction, which is the gain of electrons. And the typical examples of oxidation reactions are as follows, and the typical examples of a reduction half reactions are the ones listed below. So in terms of oxidizing agent and reducing agent, the oxidizing agent undergoes reduction and the reducing agent undergoes oxidation.